we got another comedy reaction, man. This right here is the boy Jimmy Carr, one of the funniest dudes I reacted to on the channel. If you want to see some new comedians on the channel getting react to, make sure you put their names in the comments, and I will check them out. But this is Riskiest Jokes Volume 2. Let's hop straight into it.
Ideal woman would be a single mum once I'd finished with her. It's a joke. I'd pay for the abortion. Oh, got you again. I fucking wouldn't. Let's talk about something a little bit more serious. It can't all be slapstick abortion stuff. My first wife was from Thailand. Well, don't, because you'll feel bad. It's actually quite a sad story. My first wife was from Thailand, and she died of testicular cancer. Probably the best way I could describe it is a twinkle cave was an outie. I saw a transvestite in a miniskirt. I thought, that shows a lot of balls.
Ain't no way he said that. I ain't even gonna rewind it, man. That was hilarious right there. Hey, yo.
Right, well, I feel we've warmed up. Let's try some properly offensive jokes, see how we get along. 99% of women kiss with their eyes closed, which is why it's so difficult to identify a... Let's have a little time out there.
Yeah.
And discuss the rules of the gig. Feed line, punch line, I'll take care of that. And then you can either laugh, you can laugh and applaud, I'll be flattered and delighted, or you can go, ooh, in a disapproving stylee. What you can't do is laugh, applaud, then look round and go, ooh. Not having that. Let's give it a go. I saw a headline in the Evening Standard. It said, football quiz. I thought, was that story or a competition? Well, it's probably as good a time as any to talk about how political correctness works in stand-up comedy, because some people think it's a free-for-all. You can say whatever you want on stage because of freedom of speech. That is not the case. There are rules and regulations that govern what I do. Basically, how political correctness works in stand-up comedy is, if you're directly affected by something or involved in something, you get a free pass. You're allowed to joke about that thing. So, for example, homosexual people can joke about being gay. Disabled people can joke about disability. Black or Asian people can joke about race. Those are the rules. So, these two paedophiles walk into a park. Child abuse, there's a touchy subject. I saw a headline in the paper. It said, please smash paedophile ring. I thought, good, let's see how they fucking like it. Some people eat roadkill. Have you heard about this? They take stuff that's been mowed down on the streets, they scrape it up, they clean it, they cook it, they eat it. Fine, but what you've got to accept is some of these kids have got families.
That was one
I got
of
a couple
those...
of speeding tickets last year. I've got to be super careful now. I've got 6 points on my licence, so I've got this special device. Some of you have probably got it too. It sits on the dashboard, tells you if there's a speed camera in the street, makes a beeping noise. It goes beep, 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 to warn you there's a speed camera. Also makes a noise if there's a child in the road. It goes ba-dum, ba-dum. What? Last week I ran over a kid carrying a cymbal. Ba-dum, shh. What's not to like it? It's a joke about killing a child in a music hall style. Have you ever had this? My girlfriend made me fire our cleaner because she said the cleaner was too good looking and she didn't want her in the house. How mental is that? She was a really good cleaner. She was especially good at getting spunk out of hair. Did you know every day nearly 4,000 serious sexual assaults occur? In my mind. In America, in Oklahoma, where that fertilizer bomb went off, they've now got a garden of remembrance. has come up a treat. So every cloud. These kids in American high schools, I'm sure you've read about them, 14, 15, 16 years of age, they go into their high school with automatic weapons and handguns, they go apeshit. They shoot 20 or 30 of their fellow pupils before turning one of the guns on themselves. What is their fucking problem? Do they not know where the staff room is? They could be heroes. I was in Germany recently doing a comedy gig. I was flown out there to do one of these corporate gigs. I thought, comedy, Germany, it's missionary work. Went out there, did a comedy gig. The gig went fine, but on the way back, there was about a 3-hour delay at the airport. Now, I thought, that's not a problem, I've got an iPod and a computer. I was quite, busying myself. I was quite happy. The guy I was travelling with, the guy that organised the corporate gig, was livid with this 3-hour delay. And he said, with no hint of irony, he said, yeah, say what you want about Hitler. At least when he was around, the trains ran on time. I thought, yeah, but think about where they were going. Treat them mean, keep them keen. That's what they say, isn't it? Treat them mean, keep them keen. But I think you've gone too far if you're using a Stanley knife. Of course, a lot of women stay with their men even if their men hit them. A lot of women will stay with their husbands even if their husbands beat them. I tell you what they need, a slap. Where's your self-esteem? Silly cow. She was tiny. Of course, the thing people never say about domestic violence, and it strikes me as being just so very obvious, but people never say this about domestic violence, is just how fucking stupid it is. I mean, you're hitting your wife. It's your wife. You might as well key your own fucking car. Think about it. You don't like her now, you're not going to like her anymore with 2 black eyes and a bit of a face on, are you?
He said you might as well key your own car.
There are places in the country where that's just a joke. I did that joke in Preston. It was like marriage guidance. It got a round of applause. Well, I thought it was a round of applause. It was actually people hitting their wives. If you get arrested for making obscene phone calls and you get taken down to the station and you got 1 phone call, it's got to be a temptation, isn't it? Excuse me, officer, I'm just going to finish myself off. You can say PC's gone mad and no one minds. People quite like it if you say PC's gone mad. Political correctness has gone mad. They like that. But if you say PC's gone fucking spastic like a mong... people get quite chippy. Sorry, I should clarify, when I say fucking spastic like a mong... I don't want to offend anyone. Although, thinking about it, getting by a mong, not as bad. At least you get a cuddle afterwards. Although, good luck in the police lineup. They all look a bit samey. Swings and roundabouts are what they like. While we're on the subject of Down syndrome, and that's not a line you hear enough, but while we're on the subject of Down syndrome, don't they have enough to worry about without the haircut? What sadistic barber is thinking this fella's not getting bullied enough? What about a bowl cut? Let's try and lighten the mood, shall we? Let's lighten the mood a little bit. When I read about that Austrian fella, it was bound to come up, wasn't it? When I read about Joseph Fritzl building a cellar under his house to imprison his own daughter for 24 years so he could systematically torture and abuse 2 generations of his own family, here's my first thought. This is how middle-class I am. My first thought was, I bet he didn't have planning permission for that. Oh, we'd all like to add some square footage, but there are some fucking rules, mate. Has anyone in here ever tried any DIY? Give us a shout if you've ever tried any kind of DIY, yes? Yeah. Most everyone's tried. Can anyone who's ever tried DIY, hand on heart, tell me they don't have a little bit of admiration for the work that Fritzl did?
I don't know the story, but that right there is wild.
It's not easy building stuff, is it? It's not easy to be a tidy workman. I'm not saying I approve of what he did down there. But he built a cellar without his wife even fucking noticing. I'm just saying credit where credit is due.
Took the hat off for
you. A round of applause for a Fritzl joke. You may be my kind of town. He was described in the Daily Express newspaper as the most evil man in Austrian history. Not even close. Hitler. Exam standards are coming down in this country. But focus on the positive. We do very well in pregnancy tests. It's a brilliant job, this. It's lovely. You spend an hour and a half talking to people, telling them jokes, building up this reservoir of goodwill. But then you're expected just to fuck off. It's a bit weird. With your permission, I'd like to piss away some of that goodwill. Yeah! On an unpleasant joke. You know, sometimes I'll tell a joke that's a bit edgy, and I feel as an audience you go, oh, that's a little bit close to the... Go on, then, you. What are you like? I'd like to tell one now that'll make you go... Oh. Would you like to hear it? Yes! Well, it's a joke about love. Can love conquer all? Or do the practicalities of life get in the way? Well, a great example of this is May to December relationships. Relationships where there's a bit of an age gap. Can love conquer that divide? Or does life get in the way, the practicalities? There's probably as many different opinions as there are people in this room. Here's my opinion, for what it's worth. I think you know a girl is too young for you if you're having to make the aeroplane noise to get your cock in her mouth. Here comes the train into the tunnel. There's three things I liked about that joke. Firstly, I like the fact it's a bit edgy. I like edgy jokes. It's about as edgy as I'd want to be. Second thing I like about it, next time you're being intimate with your partners... I know you're sat there thinking, I think he's a bit too mature for that. He's thinking, ba-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Third thing I like about that joke, probably later on tonight, maybe tomorrow or the next day, someone's going to say to you, oh, you were at a comedy show, tell us a joke. I guarantee you that is all you're going to be able to think of. And you'll fuck it up. I was fucking a in the face. You were what, you fucking maniac? Oh. People with Tourette's.
Hey, that This dude is pure comedy, man. I don't know what's wrong with him, how he got like that, but he is special, bro. To even like to think about the stuff that he say is just like, how did he come up with that one? Not saying you sick, but you got to be some type of sick to even think of them type of jokes, man. Not downright hilarious. I do want to give him credit for being able to keep you entertained through all of the bull crap, because you just got to be super funny to be able to say stuff like that and for it to just keep rolling and keep rolling. The offensive stuff that you say is just like clearly a joke. I remember the first time I watched him, it was just like, oh, this is just too offensive. Now it's just like, bro, he's just a funny dude, and he's gonna go borderline and say, like he said, there's when people look at him, it's like they either applaud, they laugh and then applaud, or they say, ooh. But you can't do all three, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. Anything you want to see me do, make sure you put in the comments, as well as new comedians. Put those in the comments as well. We up out of here. GoHamm TV.